Well, let's talk a little about Camacho. Unfortunately, he passed away last month. A big loss to boxing, but that was a huge couple fights with you, both split decisions. You won the first one, lost the second one. Tell us about the first fight. I mean, it was really bizarre at the end, with the point deduction for the not touching gloves. Just walk through that whole scene, your relationship with him first, and then how that all played out. Because it just seemed bizarre, the way the referee was, kind of forcing you guys to touch gloves, and explain how that all played out.
Well, the rule, I knew Hector back in 1983. I think he came up to Alaska when I was up there, and he was up there, kind of promoting the John Montez fight. He was moving up from junior lightweight to lightweight, and, so they had said that, they had some sparring set up for him for the Alaska lightweight champion, which I had just won the title. So he thought I was some hillbilly hobunk dude that, he was going to beat up. So we went out and we had a sparring session the one night. And he come out and he's just throwing bombs, and trying to knock me out. So I'm just, okay, well, what's good for you is good for me, So I bloodied his mouth and bloodied his nose pretty good. And, and I've always studied Hector. Hector likes to fight a minute and a half each round. He likes to bullshit the other minute and a half, walking behind the referee, holding. He was a master at it, if there was ways of stalling, Hector could do it. So, my philosophy was to go out there, he used me as a stepping stone. He thought I was somebody that was, a tune-up fight for him to get ready to fight Chavez because it was going to be the battle of the undefeateds. And, the way I looked at it is I wasn't a tune-up for anybody. I'm a middle-class fighter that can hold my own with anybody. And, I knew if I was in great shape that was going to, be the advantage that I needed because I'm going to make him go. My philosophy was to go out, and my game plan was to go out and fight 3 minutes of every round. And so by the 6th, 7th round, he's already fought normally as much as he does in 12 rounds. So, good morning to weigh in. I'm standing at the scales, getting ready to weigh in, and this old man comes up to me and tells me, Hector's been in the sauna for the last hour and a half, 2 hours, so, and I didn't know if that's a mind trick, that might have been something trying to get, might have been some reverse psychology trying to get me to lighten up or loosen up, whatever, and so we get on, him being the champion, he gets on first, and, he gets on, he's 140 and a half. Well, he's got these leopard skin underwear on, or like a G-string leopard skin underwear, and he's got to take them off, and they're soaking wet. So right there, that tells me he's been in the sauna, and that's not good. So he gets off the scale.
I think Jeff has the same underwear, too.
Yeah, they're about as gay as you get. But anyway, he gets off the scale, and he's got this ice bucket, that they got for the hotels. He's got all these oranges. Somebody cut them up, quartered them up, and he had a 2-liter bottle of 7-Up. He literally gets off the scale and starts eating these oranges like he hadn't eaten in a year, and sucking down this 7-Up, man, because he was dehydrated. So that right there told me, the old man knew what he was talking about, that he'd been in the sauna and he's dehydrated. So I was going to force the fight even more because by the 6th round he'd be dead tired. He wouldn't be able to, because you just can't rehydrate your body in 12 hours, or let alone, or 24 hours, let alone 12 hours. So, my philosophy was game plan, push the fight and get him to where he's dead tired by the 6th, 7th round, and that's about what he was. Because after that, he was trying to hold on, and he was tired, and in the 12th round, the rule is you only have to touch gloves in the first round. Okay, there's no rule that says you have to touch gloves in the 12th round. Well, I didn't want to touch his gloves. I was talking to him the whole fight. I was calling him a Puerto Rican faggot, all kinds of derogative words, because when he'd miss me, I'd laugh at him and I'd taunt him and I was hitting him. And so I come 12th round when Carlos Padilla says touch gloves. I said, no, I don't want to touch gloves with him. He goes, touch gloves. I go, I don't want to touch that faggot's gloves. So then he jumped in and tried to hit me, and I slipped the punch, and that's when they took the point away from me.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you, Jeff. Should they have taken a point away from him when he swung at him, but he didn't connect? So should there have been a point taken away? And what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, of course, that's left up to the jurisdiction of the referee. You know, I don't know the rules of, you know, I mean, I guess it's customary sometimes that the referee will say, you know, he'll bring the guys out and say touch gloves because it's the last and final round. But
yeah, most
at the
of the
same
time
time,
I do. You know, I mean, most of the time I do because I respect the guy I'm fighting. But this time I didn't, so I didn't want to touch gloves. And then Larry Merchant, the idiot that he is, he tells me, well, you know, Haugen, the only reason you won that fight is because you got him to take a good. I go, I don't care why I won, Larry. I won. And then on the second fight, if you watch it, it took a point away from him again in the 11th round because I was talking to him the whole fight, laughing at him, pissing him off and taunting him, and they took another point away from me. If you watch at the end of the fight, he literally leaves the ring knowing he lost. He walked to the corner. He was walking to his dressing room, and the promoter, Dan Duba, talked him into going back to the corner because they had it all, the decision wrapped up, I guess. But if you literally watch that fight in the 11th round, they take a point away from him again. And in the 12th round, after the fight's over, he's so pissed off, he gets up and leaves the ring and he walks to his dressing room, knowing they lost the fight.
Okay.
So
now normally, you know, Camacho is a very brash guy, and he does all the talking. Do you think that, you know, you're taunting, and were you able to get in his head, and do you think that played to your advantage?
Oh, there's no question. There's no question at all. I mean, you know, when you get to the point where we all are at, you're all good fighters, you know, and it's just a matter of little things that get you over the hump. You know, it might be this little thing here, a little thing there, you know, or like press conferences when you're there. I had a habit of talking to guys and telling them, hey, you know, I worked my butt off for this fight. I know I'm ready. But only he knows when he's not with all his cronies and them patting him on the back and telling him how great he is. Only he knows if he took any shortcuts. And if he did, it'll show up. And that starts, you know, and if he did, he starts wearing on him, you know. So that stuff wears on him for 2 or 3 days, you know. And so mentally you fought that fight 100 times in your head. So you mentally, I mean, it's much worse to be mentally drained than physically drained. So, you know, it's psychological warfare is the way I see it because everybody you're fighting is good. You know, and if you can get a little edge here and a little edge here and a little edge here, those little edges add up. You know, especially since you're in there with a really good fighter. So, you know, my thing was I was going to do anything I could to win the fight.
So no doubt in your mind that you won both of the fights?
No doubt. There's much doubt in my mind that I won the first Vinny fight. That's how positive I am.
Right.
And then, what can you do? You know, I mean, you're gonna cry about it? Everybody thinks you're a crybaby.
And then how did your guys' relationship evolve after that? You know, latter part of your careers and into retirement. Did you guys get to talk much and, you know, go over things, or how did you guys end up, you know, just getting along after that?
Well, I seen him a few times after that, you know, and we'd talk. And then, you know, I was down in Florida here last year and happened to go by a gym that his son was working out in. And I asked him, I go, where's the old man, you know? And he told me he'd be in the gym the next day. So I went back and I ran into him and talked to him, you know, BS with him for a little while. And, you know, just he was still fighting. I'm asking, what are you doing? You know, why are you still fighting? You know, he's 50 years old or close to 50 years old, you know, and it's crazy. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, we ended up on, you know, a decent relationship. I mean, everybody I fought I respect. You know, if they don't respect me, I don't really give a crap. But you know what? I mean, it takes a special person to climb between them ropes and get in there and put the gloves on and fight. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody wants to do it.